Good morning, College of the Atlantic. My name is Evan Martin.
And I'm Josh Tohn.
And welcome to Episode 3, Season 2 of the Windward News. This week's episode used to be brought to you by the Western Black Rhinoceros, and is now brought to you by Sleazy Steve's Piano Key Emporium.
Yep. We are back in action, and we are tracking away on this actually not so chilly day. It's pretty nice out right now.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for it to warm up.
You got a few months there. Yep, so we're here in the College of the Atlantic recording studios, and we got some assorted events and news and whatnot coming up this week. Don't forget that Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m., in Gates is the weekly ACM. You should always go to that, check it out. We make lots of important governance decisions there and big discussions. Like last week, we were talking about firearms and weapons policy on campus.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. I think people had a lot to say, and it wasn't resoundingly like we hate weapons kind of conversation. It was a nice actual dialogue about it.
Well, that's good to hear. I was hoping it would actually go that way, not the latter.
Yeah. One of the big things that they were talking about that I noticed was it's looking like firearms are going to get banned completely from campus, but the weapons policy of like other weapons like knives and things like that, there's talk of it, like the student life is still reviewing. They're going to revise the language and everything and come back to ACM with it in a bit. But one of the big things they were talking about was kind of getting like maybe a registry system or something. So if you have like something other than like a pocket knife that you want on campus, you can just like register with the college. They know you have it and why you have it, and then you'd be allowed to use it on campus and like have it with you and whatnot. Now, I'm sure the actual language itself will be different than that, but that's just kind of what was talked about a little bit at the meeting.
Well, personally, I think it's a pretty good idea to have a registry system instead of completely banning everything and anything, right? Typically, what's defined as a weapon is if you use it to harm someone, so technically my cell phone can be a weapon because I can throw it.
Anywho, moving on. Let's talk about some other events happening this week. This Tuesday is a pretty exciting human ecology forum. Peter Neal is coming from the World Ocean Observatory, and he's going to be talking about kind of a new idea about humans' interactions with nature and kind of living in harmony with nature. And that's at 7 p.m. in Gates this week. Different from, it's not in the McCormick Lecture Hall, it's 7 p.m. in Gates. So you want to come to that because that's looking like it's going to be a pretty good event. And then on Wednesday, there's the Sea Urchin After Dark, which is a new program that they're trying, so everyone should go check it out and see if that's something that's looking interesting to them.
One thing everyone might want to check out is the Weekend Davis Cafe, ran by Ben Goldweber.
Yeah, he's been starting that up. He came out of his launching a new venture project. He worked on it with a couple of other students and then has kept it going.
He makes some pretty good burritos. I've had one. Try it.
Nice. And they're pretty cheap, I hear, too. Big event coming up this Saturday is Aurora Borealis in Gates. It's the formal dance. So don't forget to bust out your shiny shoes. And
if you have shoes.
If you have shoes, shine them up. If you don't, shine up your feet. Whatever you do. And head on over to Gates at 8 p.m. for the ball, organized by Student Activities Committee and Student Life. And there will be a chocolate fondue fountain for free with lots of different things you can dip in, as well as assorted beverages and live music.
And your shiny feet.
And your shiny feet. What, you don't go to formal dances in shoes?
No, not at
Never?
all.
Florida, man. They're weird down there.
We wear exclusively horseshoes.
Ow. Do you have to, like, nail them into your feet?
Yeah, it's great.
Did you hear about the night bus cat?
The night bus cat, yeah, something about a cat that actually ended up at our school and needs adoption.
So, it ended up getting taken to the SPCA, but the,
I actually saw it there the other day.
Really?
Doesn't have a mustache? Like a white mustache?
I'm not sure. I didn't ever actually see the cat.
No, I was there.
Oh, before.
Oh, people wanted to go play with dogs, so we went to play with dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, so the night bus the other night, earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday night. The driver of the night bus found this cat sitting outside the B&G office, all like frozen-faced and everything, meowing to get in. So she lets this cat in, and it like takes off somewhere to the office to go warm itself against some heater or something. And so she sends out this email saying, "Hey, there's this cat B&G. Can anybody take care of it? Needs some food or whatever." And then there was this massive response of people like just running up to the night bus just to ask about the cat, and like people emailing like, "Yo, we want the cat," and people calling. And so like our housemate, Peter, like came out to the night bus to try and get the cat, and then the night bus like made the official decision to say, like, no, he won't get the cat.
Yeah, no, I really don't want that cat in our house, but someone should.
Yeah, it's so somebody ended up taking it for the night, and then they brought it to they worked at the SPCA, and so they brought the cat up there, and it's up there now. Though I've heard tell of more than one student trying to adopt the cat from the SPCA. What do you think I don't know if they decided on a name for the cat. What do you think it should be named?
Pepperoni Tony.
Yep. That was my plan too. Pepperoni Tony, man.
I say we make a cat lottery as a fundraiser. $5 a ticket, and
You get to
we'll
name the
auction the
cat?
cat off.
You could auction the name's
Auction
cat,
the name.
cat's name off. Yeah, so like you can name the cat. You pay $5, you get to put in a name, and then there's a drawing. I mean, I just put in like 80 submissions for Pepperoni Tony because it's a great name.
That is probably the best cat name ever.
If we get a cat, Pepperoni Tony.
Let's see, what else is happening this week? I don't know if there are any other big events going on. The Natural History Museum on Saturday from 12 to 4 is they're doing their annual seaweed valentines, where you can make like an artistic like seaweed valentine thing, and then they dry it out, and they're ready by Valentine's Day.
That is one of the most COA things I've ever heard of.
I mean, College of the Atlantic. Yeah, we're gonna do some stuff with ocean things.
Seaweed Valentines.
I'll make sure to get one for you, buddy.
You're welcome.
So now we're going to go ahead and jump to this week's episode of Free Range Nonsense, written by Max Paris and produced by Josh Tohn and Rose Edwards. As always, enjoy the episode.
In every American history textbook, one can find the grand voyage of Columbus and his discovery of America. Yet absent from every history book is the story of the man who sailed the ocean blue and stumbled upon the other side of the world before Columbus did. Alan C. O'Hallock landed on what is now known as Mount Desert Island after setting sail from his home country, Ireland, in search of a better place to drink. Although he meant to end up somewhere in Southeast Asia, he admitted that he never really bothered to take a gander at the map. When crashing into, landing on the island, the ship's hull hit, brushed lightly against the sandbar. Captain O'Hallock, jolted by this, immediately jumped overboard, screaming something about the British Navy in a massive bar tab. Upon washing up on shore, he was drugged and captured by ex-Vikings turned cannibal and roasted over an open fire. He was rescued by some natives and warmed by a fire. Eventually, he was found and saved by his crew, who had sustained no injuries during the unintended encounter with the land, as they had stayed aboard and found that it wasn't really that big of a deal. Despite the dangers and hostilities, Captain O'Hallock decided to stay, because whatever cannibals had drugged him with was, quote-unquote, some good shit. He and his reluctant crew claimed the island as their own, and lived there for approximately 1 year. During that time, Captain O'Hallock and his crew refrained from any exploring and mostly stayed by their ship, as the captain didn't really care much for adventure and preferred the indoors. This might explain why they never discovered the significantly larger landmass just beyond the far side of the island. In time, they repaired the ship and the captain decided to leave and sail back to Europe, but not before naming the island. The original name was Desert Island because of all the sand that Captain O'Hallock could see from his room on the ship, but that was quickly revised to Mount Desert Island after his crew pointed out that there was a pretty big wooden mountain on it, with trees and such, and not all that much sand. It wasn't until many years later that Captain O'Hallock's descendants came back to America and reclaimed the island. They established a colony on the island and eventually started College of the Atlantic. where students go to study the subject that Captain O'Hallock claimed to be an expert in, to make himself seem more interesting to the opposite sex: human ecology. Even today, his descendants continue to work at the college as staff and faculty. One such man, Professor Bear in Desert, is sitting in the room where our story is about to begin rather abruptly.
F, D minus, F, C, F. Oh, a B plus. Oh, an F minus. D plus, F, D minus.
Look what I found!
Leo, don't bring that thing in here.
Don't bring that creature indoors. It belongs in nature.
Not when it's dead, it doesn't.
It's dead! It probably shouldn't have eaten that beetle soup I made.
That soup was good poison, and it worked better than any trap I've ever made.
Will everyone please shut up and sit down?
I found a jackalope. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
If you're all ready, I'm now going to assess your health and give you grades. We'll start with Cecilia. You did well in avoiding any real injury out there and managed to make an incredibly potent poison. You were the main caretaker of your camp when others were away and did the job well. However, you poisoned about half your class and a significant percentage of the woodland critters, and everything has died within a mile radius of where you buried the poison soup. You also missed out on most of the action because you never left camp. You clearly would have never survived without the help of others. Your final grade is a C+.
Oh, right! I got a plus!
Yeah, following a C.
Ryan, your performance was absolutely pitiful out there.
What?
Ignoring the fact that you whined the whole way there, you stood around being useless and distracting others most of the time. When you weren't doing that, you were getting lost and waiting to be found by your friends.
Oh, come on!
And do I even need to mention the reason you're in a wheelchair and have that many casts and stitches?
What? How was I supposed to know that there would be a bear on this island? If I had known that the island bear was actually real, maybe I would have been more cautious. And even then, the chances that I actually run into the one bear on this island are less than my chances of getting hit by lightning. Even more so because it's winter. Shouldn't bears be hibernating or something?
For your final grade, I couldn't find anything lower than an F-, so I just drew a frowny face in red marker on your review.
I must have done something good. Something can raise my grade a little. I mean, I collected firewood and all.
You found some wood in a forest? Congratulations. I'll raise your grade to an F.
Nice! You got it raised!
Shut up. I hate this stupid class and all of its projects.
Next on the list, Roger. I'll deduct points for injuries on your body, but honestly, you have so many scars and missing parts of you that I can't tell what's new or old, so I'll give you a B just because I feel like it.
That seems fair.
What? That doesn't even...
Shh, I'm next.
Washington, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that one of our top students did so well. You efficiently led a group of others and showed the know-how to survive in that environment. On top of that, you successfully stopped the island bear from completely killing Ryan, but still came back unscathed. The only part I don't approve of is all the bullet shells that are currently laying all over the forest. All in all, I'd say you get a B+.
A B+? That's still a B.
You aren't going to deduct points for him using probably illegally obtained guns on nature?
Ah, thank you for reminding me. Wash, you shot, scared, and tackled Alex. Plus, you tried to feed her to the island bear so that everyone else could get away.
I almost succeeded, too.
Well done. I'm raising you to an A-.
What?
Yes! Thank you, Alex.
Wait, no! That wasn't my intention!
And this makes a perfect segue into your assessment, Alex. You were bitten, tackled, nearly eaten by a bear, and on top of all that, there isn't a single member of your group that isn't in the hospital right now.
Wait a second! That last one isn't even my fault! It was Cece who offered them her beetle soup.
At this moment, I have you down at a D-, but then you reminded me of that time Wash shot you in the arm. So, as a reward for your honesty, I will only lower your grade to an F+. Congratulations.
Wash!
Everyone, scatter! Time for a tactical retreat. Roger, cover me!
Copy that. Now where are my smoke grenades? Ah, here we are.
Damn it, Wash! You aren't getting away this time!
That was interesting. Who's left?
I'm left. Wait, no, sorry, I'm right, actually.
but I think Hunter's left because that's the hand he's hanging onto the ceiling fan with.
Hunter, your grade is currently an A, but will go down a letter for every second you don't let go of that ceiling fan and come to the ground like the rest of us. A table is not the ground, but it'll have to do. Well, seeing as you're the only one left in the room I haven't assessed yet, I guess you're the last one, Leonora. Actually, you surprised me the most. At first I thought you were a bug-licking nitwit, but then I realized that you were testing the bugs for poison by licking them. You continued to impress me by feeding off the native plants and not getting poisoned, unlike the rest of the class. You exerted no fear or aggression in the face of an enraged bear, thus making it uninterested in you. Although, I don't understand why you felt the need to tell the bear good morning, or offer it tea.
Mr. Bear seemed like he could use a cup of tea for the morning because he was being such a grumpy bear. He must not have been a morning person. Would it be a morning bear?
Anyway, I've never done this before, but I'm going to give you an A+ for going above and beyond my expectations.
I have a question.
Yes? What is it?
Do I get extra credit for the jackalope I found?
The what? Oh, that. Leonora, that's not a jackalope. That's a dead rabbit with antlers glued to its head.
Oh, so then can I keep it?
I have no idea why in God's name you'd want to keep that dead rabbit. But yes, if you really want it, go for it.
It's not dead, it's just sleeping. Jackalopes hibernate too, you know.
I retract my previous statement. You are an idiot, and it's complete luck that you've made it this far in life.
And so class in the Wilderness Survival Project ended. And as the noon sun hit the snow, the students hustled towards the dining hall for a warm meal and discussions of the latest adventures.
Wash, Roger, I gotta know. Where did you find miniature antlers to put on a rabbit? It's been bothering me all day, and I can understand where you get the rabbit from, but...
That wasn't us. As much as I would love to take credit for a prank that good, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I as well had nothing to do with such pranks. But if it's miniature antlers you want, I can get you miniature antlers. For cheap, too.
Why does everything you say sound sketchy? Miniature antlers aren't a type of drug or something, are they?
Why do you ask? Are you looking for some?
I figured you were the mastermind, Cece, what with you being crafty and all.
Not this time, boys. Must have been someone else.
There was one other thing that bothered me. How did the professor know about me getting mauled by a bear? And of all the other stuff that happened in the woods?
I see your point.
It was the Soviet spy drones, I suspect.
I'm gonna go ahead and rule out the possibility of Soviet spy drones.
Suit yourself, but don't be surprised when the Soviets attack us and know all of our secrets.
I find it's best not to worry about little details like that. It makes life simpler.
Finally, with everyone back on campus, life can continue normally, and Professor Desert could go back to spying on his students from the usual places, instead of in trees and under rocks and such. Meanwhile, Leo carried her jackalope back to her dorm room and placed it in the jackalope closet. In just 6 weeks, the jackalope hibernation period would be over, and it would awaken and prepare for spring. Leo knew that she was running out of time, and would need to return to the woods soon to look for more jackalopes for her independent study on jackalope fornication. She only had 10 jackalopes thus far, and needed at least 20 more before mating season. Even though this one project was over, there was still much more to be done, and many more adventures to be had in the future.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Windward News. I'm Evan Martin.
And I'm Josh Tohn.
This episode is published by Maximum Tone Records, edited and produced by Joshua Tohn.
Free Range Nonsense was written by Max Paris and produced by Josh Tohn and Rose Edwards. Voice actors include Amber Wolf, Austin Ogofa, Davis Yo, Aspen Budd, Jonathan Harmer, Rose Edwards, Josh Tohn, and Laura Montanari.
All right, COA, have a wonderful week 4. Good morning, College of the Atlantic. My name is Evan Martin.
And I'm Josh Tohn.
And welcome to Episode 3, Season 2 of the Windward News. This week's episode used to be brought to you by the Western Black Rhinoceros and is now brought to you by Sleazy Steve's Piano Key Emporium.
Yep. We are back in action.